What advice can you offer to someone who is in narcissistic relationships currently
Get
and is
out.
seeking a better circle? Like
Get
how do
out.
they find specifically these better circles, these better friendships where love and connection is involved versus the petty shallowness of vanity and self-worth?
I think one of the scariest things about being in a relationship with a narcissist is that the narcissist is so manipulative. They have a way of keeping you in that relationship. That's why breaking up with a narcissist is very difficult. They know how to trap you. They know things about you. A lot of times, because you have kids with them, you have contracts with them, business contract with them, your life will be miserable. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode on Let's Talk About Us with Uche. I am your boy, Uche. I am here with my boy, Jacob. What's going on, Jacob?
How y'all doing? Good to see you again.
Nice. Welcome. Thank you so much if you're returning. If this is your first time joining us, please make sure to subscribe, download, share with your friends and family. Hit that bell notification so anytime we upload a video, you'd be the very first to be notified. Jacob, you want to take it away today?
Today we're talking about narcissism.
Hell yeah.
So how would you define a narcissist, Uche?
You know, the topic of narcissism is one that I feel like a lot of us don't even really fully understand what it entails, because growing up, we've always learned that a narcissist is somebody who thinks or who is obsessed with their own image, always looking in the mirror, has to look right and things like that. But I think it's actually much deeper than that, in my opinion. I think the narcissist spirit is a demon that is more so self-serving. It is all about you. Whenever you have a relationship whenever you find yourself in a relationship with a narcissist, which I think a lot of us have at some point, it is always about that narcissist. Everything is about that narcissist. Everything revolves around that narcissist. The way they look, the way they talk, the way they appear, everything revolves around them. So they're self-serving. It's a very perverse spirit. It's all about me. That's the way I look at it anyway.
Absolutely. So do you think there's something separate from like the narcissist willing to like manipulate others, put them down, and control them for their own benefit?
Oh, of course.
Or is there something like controlling that person to control other people?
I think it's a little bit of both. There's something about you that makes you susceptible to that perverse spirit. It doesn't just attach itself to just any Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's got to be something about you, that makes you very susceptible to it. Maybe the where you were raised, who raised you, where you were raised, how you were raised, whatever it is, whatever trauma that you've experienced growing up or in your past experiences that you have not let go or you have not healed from. It creeps up inside of you and promises this sense of euphoria. Let's say, for example, you're somebody who didn't really get a whole lot of love growing up, and now you've grown up, you're very attractive. That egotistic demonic entity tells you, hey, you're attractive now, let them know who's the baddest B word, like that kind of situation. And because you have not distanced yourself from that past experience, that hurt, that trauma, that becomes your prison, if that makes sense. Now it's all about you. Now every single friend group that you want to have has to look a certain way, have to bring out that narcissistic image about you. And again, as a result, you miss out on the beauty of having a relationship with the people around you, because with that relationship, it's all about you. It's all about how they make you feel, because you're still latched onto that old mentality of the pain that you suffered as a kid, if that makes sense.
Very well said. Absolutely. It kind of makes me dwell on the concept of free will, right? What do you have to do in order to let like something negative higher than yourself potentially come in and control you, or be that voice in your head, how strong or weak it can be, telling you, oh, you need to worry about how you look right now. You need to say certain things so that these people like you, so that you can establish yourself and grow higher up in the social hierarchy. When me and you know that social hierarchy continues forever. Someone's at the top, and the people right beneath them are always vying to get to the top. The person at the top is eventually going to fold. The people are going to get to the top. They're going to fight, and then more people are going to come up and try to fight with them. It's the constant cycle of, I am better than you, but I'm going to lie and fake it until I get to that place because I think I want it, when in reality it just leaves you empty. But I really like what you said, Uche, about talking about like what impacts your free will. Like when you are serving yourself in that way, you put yourself in those similar social situations like you were talking about, and it's like a cycle, a reciprocating cycle, which increases the probability that you will continue to be there, right? Like what can a person do to break out of this service to self narcissistic cycle?
My honest answer is it's going to be difficult. It truly is going to be difficult to break out of that cycle. And the reason why I think, unfortunately, it's going to be difficult to break out of that cycle is because of the society we live in. Narcissism is portrayed everywhere. It is rewarded. It's the coolest thing ever. It's all about me, 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 me. You know, you can even see traces of that in capitalism. You know, the better you are, the more everyone needs to worship you, if that makes sense. You are the number one, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be very difficult for you to get away from that self-serving mindset. But if you really want to unplug from that, I think the first step is to be honest with yourself. This is not serving you properly. Like, I know it's self-serving per se, but what are you gaining? Like, truly, what are you gaining being in a relationship with people where that relationship is all about you? You're not getting the benefit of having a companion, someone who genuinely cares about you, someone who really enjoys being around you, somebody who enjoys doing things with you. You don't have that close heart-to-heart human experience. You don't have that. And you know how they say that it's lonely at the top. So you keep going and you get to the top, and now it's just you by yourself. This is why a lot of successful artists, for example, up there, they're lonely. A lot of them are lonely. That's why they can't find relationships. They can't keep a relationship because they feel like they're the baddest B word. They're the coolest. They're the hottest and whatnot. But when you humble yourself, you bring yourself down and understand that you are human just like everybody else. You're going through life just like everybody else. And this self-serving mentality is actually more destructive to you than helping. And the truest form of humanity is being around people who you can feed their energy and they feed you back. That is a human experience, and that is beautiful. That is worth exploring. So being honest with yourself as to what lack of having that human contact, that genuine human relationship causes in your life: loneliness, depression, anxiety, constantly worrying about if you look the part or not. Being honest with yourself about that, and then secondly, take an initiative to unplug from that and do something different. And for some people, I feel like one of the things that you need to do is unplug yourself from the media, or at least limit media consumption, and movies and the music videos. Everything is telling you to be the best, but not like in a healthy way. It's like, let them know that they can't compare. And then once you're done with that, I think seek therapy. Be around therapists, get professional, highly qualified professionals who will help you come home to that human side of you. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then you set out to look for like minds, people like you, people who speak your language, your tribe, people you enjoy being around, people you enjoy doing things with, people who bring out the human in you. That is now about you all, not just you. Does that make sense?
What advice can you offer to someone who is in narcissistic relationships currently is seeking a better circle? Like, how do they find specifically these better circles, these better friendships where love and connection is involved versus the petty shallowness of vanity and self-worth?
I think one of the scariest things about being in a relationship with a narcissist is that the narcissist is so manipulative. They have a way of keeping you in that relationship. That's why breaking up with a narcissist is very difficult. They know how to trap you. They know things about you. A lot of times, because you have kids with them, you have contracts with them, business contract with them, your life will be miserable. If you don't have any type of permanence with that narcissist, get out. If you do have some type of permanence, look for a way to separate yourself from that permanence legally or whatever it is, because they will come for you. The reason why they chose you is because you feed their ego. They need to be fed by you. And if you're cutting them off, you're basically cutting off their supply, their ego supply. get out immediately. Seek as much help as possible and seek therapy. A lot of times when people break up from narcissistic relationships, they think that all you have to do is just walk away. No, you need to seek therapy because, again, there's something about you that made you susceptible to that narcissist. There's something about you. So you may have successfully gotten rid of this narcissist, but guess what? There's another one waiting on you that is going to be, you're going to be susceptible to as well. So you need to seek therapy. You need to be able to wash away whatever it is that made that person attracted to you in the first place. And through therapy is going to give you the idea on how you can move on without that narcissistic abusive relationship, where you can find people just like you or who speak your language and you can thrive in your most authentic self. But you need to get out, like right now.
Good. Okay. So, in this Law of One book, back at it again, the main premise is that there are two ways to meet the Creator and grow in faith and connection. The first one is to serve the self and to align oneself with the energy of others underneath you serving you. When you always have someone else to serve, there's always one at the top that you have to feed your energy to. Whether this is working at a 9-to-5 with a narcissistic boss who demands too much of you, or being raised in a household with a mom who is emotionally distraught, so you have to be worried at all times about her emotions, and that impacts you on how you view the world and whether or not you're a nice guy or you're willing to serve others in a way that puts yourself down instead of retaining that power and confidence, but also using that to serve others with your free will, not out of survival mode, but out of choice. The other way is to serve others, right? To give to others more than oneself, and thus potentially receive, but not to receive, but to give, right? So in this book, they ask the question, what is the objective of negative self-serving entities? Ra goes, to serve the self is to serve all. The service of the self, when seen in this perspective, requires an ever-expanding use of the energies of others for manipulation to the benefit of the self with distortion towards power. Have you met anyone in your life, Uche, that is clearly a service to self? Or do you think anyone in politics, in arts, in movies, is there anyone that sticks out to you as someone that serves themselves?
Oh, there are loads of people. It's everywhere. Hell, I used to be one of those people as well. Yeah, and it's as part of that indoctrination that I'm talking about that I am working diligently to change. You know, yes, I was indoctrinated into believing that service to self is the way to go. And I don't mean to disrespect Nigerians, for example, but in Nigeria, that's basically what we do. Narcissism is so prevalent in Nigeria. You got to let people know. You have to let your enemies know that, you know, you have arrived. That's basically the mentality. From growing up, I had narcissistic parents, you know, especially my mother. It was always about her, the image. It was all about her image. She didn't care much about us, you know, as a family. It was more so how we looked, how we made her look, you know what I mean? And the children that didn't make her look the brightest, she didn't have that much affinity towards, if that makes sense. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I was like, I'm done with this nonsense. You know, I cannot be in a relationship with, or I cannot try to be in a relationship with my mother and just be in a relationship where I'm worshiping you. Like, no, that's not healthy. It needs to be, you need to be my mother and I need to be your son type of situation. So they're everywhere. A lot of politicians, a lot of musicians, a lot of artists that we put on a pedestal, these people are narcissists. Look at some of the music, trending music topics. If you listen to the lyrics, a lot of these lyrics are very narcissistic. You know, I'm the baddest this, I'm the richest this, you know, my this is bigger than yours, and, you know, all that nonsense. It's very narcissistic. You know, we put these people on a pedestal, and so high of a pedestal that these people make significantly more money than a lot of generations that I even know. You know, a lot of these people don't even have college degrees. Some of them just have high schools, you know, or high school diplomas, GEDs, yet they make more money than, I want to say, most people in this zip code combined together. because we put these people on a pedestal. This is what we have consumed and seen as some type of success, if that makes sense. So it's very, very prevalent. It's everywhere. And just because somebody has narcissistic tendency doesn't necessarily mean that they're narcissists themselves. I believe that every human being has narcissistic qualities to a certain extent. There are spectrums of it. It's basically a spectrum of selfishness to a certain extent. And this is me being pragmatic and saying that it is a survival mechanism. It's a survival thing. Of course, I'm going to catch myself before I catch somebody else. Yes. But when everything revolves around you, like you feel like you are the center of the universe, if it walks like a duck, probably is a duck.
So for the viewers out there listening at this point, I want you to ask yourself the question, of the 100 choices you make in a day, how many are truly for yourself and how many do you give to someone else? For me, I'm probably around 65-35 myself to others. I'm trying to break that 50-50 mark. That's my goal.
For me, I don't think it's something that I calculate percentage wise. Of course, I'm going to catch myself first. I have to be able to catch myself first before I catch somebody else. That's for sure. But at the same time, too, I try to be intentional to not cause division. I think anything unifying within my power is where to go. Like if I see something or someone that doesn't sit well with my spirit, if it's not my thing, hey, God bless you, I keep moving. It is what it is. But if I have the opportunity to have an interaction with somebody, have some type of relationship with somebody, I give my all, always. I like to sync with that person because I like to think that me and that person were one, and together we are forming one. We are maximizing our potential at that moment in time and space, if that makes sense. So I will not force myself to be in that sync-in or synchronicity, if that's the word, if it's not there. You know what I mean? Like I have other things that I'll be doing with my life that comes a lot more natural. But if I'm going to be there, I'll give you my all because together we're one. Just like right now. Okay? Before I was here, I was doing uche. I was doing my thing, whatever it is, sleeping, cleaning my home or whatever it is. That was me catching myself by myself, doing my thing, right? But at the same time, too, I took my time to be here with you. And guess what? I've put a lot of uche aside to be here with you. Uche, Jacob, together we are one right now.
Together we are Juche.
Together we are Juche, of course. But my point is, at this point, I am not calculating if it's 50% Uche, 50% Jacob. The point is, I am you, you are me, and together we are we.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, but seriously, like in everything you do, before we wrap it up, before we go, in every single thing you do, in literally every single thing you do, relationships that you have with people outside of yourself, it needs to be more unifying. It shouldn't be all about you. If you're worried about the way you look, the way you sound, the way you walk, the way you act, when you're not giving energy to other people in the room with you, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. And if you're not happy with the people you're around, if you don't feel like you can connect with the people you're around, then maybe it's time to look for other groups of people that you need to connect with. Is that a snake?
Bro, you tweaking.
So yeah, it is time to do something different. Whatever situation you find yourself in, it needs to be unifying and not divisive. It should not be always about you.
Comment below if you guys have any narcissistic relationships in your life.
Yeah, let us know if you've been in a narcissistic relationship. Maybe you're the narcissist or you're a repentant narcissist. I don't even know if that's possible. Let us know how you were able to navigate through that narcissistic relationship. Did you seek therapy? Did you get out? How difficult was it for you to get out? And what are you doing differently now? Share down below. We would like to read these comments. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification. Until next time. Peace.